Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another bouldering video where I boulder, and that's it. Okay, so I joined a bouldering league. 3 rules, and then we'll dive into the climbing. Number 1, it's point-based, based off of how well you can climb. So since I'm a V3, V4 climber, I can earn just as many points climbing a V4 as someone much better could earn climbing a V9. So it's weighted based off your talent level. So for me, V3, V4 is worth 12 points because that's the top of my range, and if I'm able to climb a V5, V6, then I get bumped up to the next level where V5, V6 is now worth 12 points. It's a whole deal, it doesn't really matter. I think earlier I said 3 rules. That's literally the only rule I can think of. Oh, you do earn a bonus point if you can flash the climb. Okay, that's it. Enough of me talking. Let's get into the first climb. So this first climb is a V3. You can't tell from the video, but it's on this really overhung wall, which makes all of this a little bit trickier. You can see there's a lot of bigger moves. Let's watch it again and talk through it. So it starts off really low. All of these are kind of pinchy. Yeah, pretty much every hold after the first one is a pinchy, hang on to it hold. This is the first big move. You can see one important thing to note is that I got my knee really bent in close to the wall. That made that big move actually a lot easier. So if you're working through a big move and they're tough for you, try that out. Just really lean onto that knee. As much weight as you can get onto that leg, the better. It enabled me to kind of just reach up, made it super easy. From there, I flagged out another big move. I switched over so that my tension is opposite of the angle of the hold. So you can see I switched so my right leg was flagged out a bit. That helped me lean opposite into that hold. And then one more big move, and I topped it. Fairly straightforward problem, a lot of fun. I'm having a great time improving at these bigger moves. Normally, I'm not great at these, but this kind of forced me to get better and in front of a large crowd, so why not? Next up, we've got another V3. This one took me 2 tries, but it was a lot of fun. Let's watch the first attempt. Okay, pretty fun problem, super unique kind of hand crossover motion. This first attempt where I went wrong, if you watch my last video, you'll remember that I talked about always knowing the exact thing. Once you fall, always pick the exact thing that made you fall so that you can try to find the fix. And the reason why I fell in this first attempt is right here. I got my hands crossed, which I actually think is the correct beta, but then boom, right here, my body, I threw this left foot out, and that forced my body to be opposite of the angle of the hold, which made moving to that next hold very difficult for me. This next attempt, I'm gonna try it again, but you'll notice I will switch my feet, which puts my tension opposite of the hold, and it's gonna make it a lot easier for me to move on from there. Also, I forgot to mention before we do the next attempt, if you're new to the channel, normally I film on a pretty nice camera and the quality is a lot better. Definitely check out one of my other videos so you can see kind of what the quality of this channel typically is. I didn't bring my camera setup and my gimbal because it was a competition and there were a lot of people around, a lot of movement, and I didn't want to deal with it. I kind of wanted to just enjoy the experience. So for this video, all of it is filmed just on my iPhone 10, which has like a decent sized crack through the lens. So let's get into the next attempt, which is where I sent it. So yeah, I pan over, you can kind of see how many people are just sitting there watching, which is fun. Give it another attempt. That right hand hold is really bad, but it's able to hold tension into the wall. Let me get my left hand up first. I do the cross, and this time I switch my feet. Now I'm angled with the hold, which makes it a lot easier for me to bump that hand up. Another big move. You can see I drop down into it so that when I push up, I can do it all, just one fluid motion, a big, nice motion there. Up to that hold, which was not great, but I was able to hang on to it. My height helped me here. A lot of people struggled with this part, but I was able to kind of just do a little bit more of a dynamic move and pop up to the top. Since I didn't flash that one, I only got 12 points instead of 13, but it was a really fun problem. Up next, I was really proud of this one. So this was a V3 that I was able to flash. Let's watch it and then we'll talk about it. All right, so you can notice right away the holds are all fantastic, except for the last couple, which were not as jugular as the first few. I don't know if you can refer to a hold as jugular. I said that out loud and that did not sound right. What made it tricky is that it was a longer problem. It was super overhung, which makes everything just more tiring. And you've got to get the reason a lot of people struggled is that you have to get some very specific body positioning things just right in order for you to be able to make certain moves. So let's talk through it. That first hold is really great. Up to that next hold, you can see I'm being very careful with my feet on this overhung style. If you're not careful with your feet and just holding that body tension, you're gonna swing out and you're gonna get too tired to keep going. I saw a lot of people that were struggling with this problem, were struggling with this one area is they were cutting their feet because they weren't as focused on holding that tension, keeping that pressure, and so they were swinging out, losing energy that they didn't need to lose. From there, this part was actually a little tricky since I am taller. You can see I kind of get scrunched up a little bit. Big move out with my left hand, super scrunched here. Now this is the key. This is the part that almost everybody that was working this problem struggled with, and I was surprised, honestly, that I was able to flash this and get through it first try. So we'll watch it here. You can see right there how far I dropped that knee down. That allowed a couple things. It allowed me to get my body really close to the wall, which helps your balance out a lot, and it allowed me to push hard against this left hand hold here. All of that just made it so that I was able to balance and move that right hand. From there, the holds get a lot worse. That hold was not great, and you'll see I actually barely make it. My feet slipped off. I think that was a result of me just being tired, but it's a good reminder that you can't rush it even if you're at the very end and the end is in sight. All right, up next. This was a V5 that I worked for a while. Disclaimer, I did not get this tonight, but I worked it quite a few times, so it's worth discussing. It's a tough problem. The holds on the left there are not great. They're very slopey, and you're kind of hanging on right on that arete, right on that corner there. And that's just a style of climbing I'm not as familiar with. And you can see I fell on this first attempt because, first of all, I was tired. I should have tried this when I was more fresh. I'm getting tired already. Let's watch the next attempt here. It's a very tricky problem, and what I wanted to do, which you'll see in later attempts, is I wanted to climb up, bump up a little bit, and then actually cut in and stop using that arete and using those left holds altogether and just finish the climb on the right side. That's what I'm seeing some climbers doing. But you can see a different angle here. There I just slipped. Again, just these bump ups are hard. Let's watch the next attempt here. Disclaimer, I really don't get much further than this position. I bump here, bump up again. This left handhold is super slopey, which makes it hard to do these next bumps. That's kind of why you have to be quicker. I make this bump and then I miss it. At this point in the night, I'm winding down. I'm really trying hard. There's only a few people left climbing. A lot of people had already got the points they wanted for the night and had headed home. But we're looking at probably over 2 hours into this session, and I'm still here desperately trying to get this problem so I can bump up to the next league. It didn't happen. Here's my final attempt of the night. I'm proud of myself for sticking with it. Sometimes even if you don't get it, just being able to say that you never gave up, you stuck with it, is pretty awesome. So I was able to make this bump. I switched my feet and I tried to cut in, and I was just exhausted. So, didn't get any points for that climb, but I took my top 3 climbs, which were all V3, V4's. So, a little bit more unique of a video. I ended the night, I realized the maximum number of points you can get is 39 points. I was able to flash 2 of these, and that pesky green climb in the middle took 1 extra attempt, so I didn't get the bonus point for that, which landed me at 38 points at the end of the night, which is just 1 less than the max amount, so I'm actually super proud of that. I had a great night. The bouldering league the week before, I did not do so hot. I ended that with 34 points. So I'll keep you guys updated. I'm hoping to be able to maintain this level of point earning, this level of success, I guess, so that I can make the finals and be able to climb in the official bouldering comp in November. I'll keep you guys updated on that. Thank you so much for watching. I'm having a lot of fun making these. I've said it a couple times before, but please comment with any tips, any suggestions, or just to say, hey, introduce yourself. I like having those conversations down in the comments. And then like and subscribe. I know that's cliche, but it really does help me out a lot, and it makes me smile. So that's gonna do it for this video. We'll catch you guys in the next one. Take care out there and keep climbing.